I am back. It's been over 2 weeks since I've last posted, but I've been busy with client work, and that's what puts food on the table, so I'm not gonna apologize. Anyway, if you watched any of my videos before, you see that I do a variety of computer-based videos about build guides and computers I think are worth mentioning that are good for the price and whatnot. But the one thing I hear a lot in the comments is that, hey, I clicked on the link and the price went up from what you mentioned in the video. I'm not buying that, and I understand, and that's a typical trend right now, and it's a problem in the PC market, is that GPU prices and DDR4 prices have skyrocketed, and they're not reasonable anymore, and a lot of people aren't willing to pay the premiums it costs to get those, and I sympathize with that, and I'm really glad I built my computer when I did, because it was just before that took off. But some of you who want a computer now and need a computer now are having some problems. The sad part is this trend doesn't seem like it's going to be ending anytime soon. We can't really tell for sure when. Even the manufacturers at NVIDIA say that it's looking like the rest of the year, and we can't confirm that, but those are predictions. So that spells trouble for people who need a computer now. Whether you're a gamer or a content creator, or you need this for school, if you're in the graphics field of any sort, you need something that's more than just your mom and pop laptop. So what do you do? This is a sore subject amongst PC purists, and that's pre-built computers. From their side, and I agree that if you want the best computer possible, build it yourself. And with that being said, you do have to do a lot of research to make sure what you're building is good. And you get to pick the parts that go in your computer, and you get to choose the best parts. And before, that used to be usually the cheaper option, if not the better option. Like even if you paid the same price, you were getting a better computer. But right now, because of the retail prices of these components, that's hard to do right now. That's more than hard. It's going to be very expensive because some of the prices of these components have doubled in price. So that makes the option of a pre-built system seem a little more palatable. And don't get me wrong, if all you need is a computer and you don't even want to mess with building one to begin with, this is a solid option. And PC manufacturers are doing a better job than they used to, I believe, when putting together computers, especially when they built it with gamers in mind, because they know the gamer is probably going to be a little more picky. And also that computer manufacturers get their parts at wholesale. Yes, they do tack on a little extra price for their profit, but from what I've seen, I've done a lot of research on Amazon and other sites, their computers are still cheaper. In fact, some of the computers, the price of that computer and the graphics card it has in it, the graphics card alone, if you were to buy it by itself, would almost be the price of the entire PC. So that makes it even more compelling to look at this as an option. If this is completely unacceptable to you and you must have a pre-built system, then you probably don't want to watch the rest of the video, because I'm just talking about pre-builts in this one. Anyway, there are advantages as well to getting a pre-built system. One, you don't have to buy Windows, they come pre-installed. You don't have to assemble anything, which is honestly half the fun of building a computer, is putting it together. It's a good time, but again, if you're not interested in that and you just want the computer, then that does make this sound a little bit better. You get a few extra bonus things that most people don't put in their computer, like when they build it, like a Bluetooth adapter and even a Wi-Fi card. Now, if you want the fastest internet connection, always put an Ethernet cable in, but there are advantages to wireless like Bluetooth, especially if you want a Bluetooth controller, which is, for example, the Xbox One controller. If you want to game with a controller, it makes more sense that way. Anyway, today we're looking at 3 different options, 3 different tiers that I'm going to put as feasible options to get you in the door to get a computer in different budgets. Now, since I know that a lot of the things I post are on limited times or limited time sales, I'm going to try to put a few different links as options in there from different sellers on Amazon, so that, for instance, if one of the ones I featured changes its price or runs out of stock, then there should be some other clickable links that have those options. But anyway, we're going to start with the first computer. All right, the first one on the list is at $599. It's a $600 computer, which entry level for a gaming productivity computer is actually really good. That's a good price. It's the LENOVO Idea Center Y720Q. It is the 7th generation i3 and it clocks to 3.9 gigahertz, which is actually pretty good for an entry-level CPU. Only that, it's got 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, a terabyte hard drive, and an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 Ti, which is a very good graphics card. I have a system I built that has that, and it's a 4 gigabyte card. It's really good. It'll do everything at 1080p at high settings and gives really good frame rates. So for an entry-level computer, this is a great choice. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about each computer because if you want to stress over the details, click the links and check them out yourselves. I'm just mainly focusing on the components that are overpriced right now if you were to get them yourself. The GTX 1050 Ti right now is hard to get under $300. It can be done, but usually it's between $250 and $300 at this point, which, keep in mind, it's supposed to be about $140. So links to this computer will be in the bottom. Next on the list is the HP Pavilion Power Desktop Computer. This computer is what got me interested in making this video because I've seen a few articles written about this computer due to the GPU crisis, and a lot of people are publishing that, you know, these are excellent options when it comes to buying a computer that has decent graphics. This one changes in price a lot because they're going like hotcakes. Every time I try looking at the links for these, there's always some vendor that is running out and only has a few left in stock. But there's quite a few out there, so I'll put a few different vendors for this computer in there too, so you can check that out. Anyway, what's good about this one is that it has an RX 580. It's a really good card from AMD. It performs about 250% better than the GTX 1050 Ti, and at only $100 more, it makes it a pretty good option. This one has a Ryzen 5 1400. Ryzen's chips are among my favorite right now because they're great high performance chips, but are also power efficient. It's got 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, which usually in these are pretty easy to upgrade. Just make sure that you get the right type on something similar. If you're adding or if you're replacing, then it's usually pretty easy to run a diagnostics about what your computer needs. This one does not have an SSD, which you should be able to add if you really wanted to, but Windows is already preloaded to the hard drive that's in it, which is a 72 RPM rotational disk, which 72 RPMs is kind of what you want in a hard drive. That's really good. It certainly is a lot faster than the 5400 RPMs, which is kind of a garbage hard drive, but this one's actually pretty decent. So no, it's not going to be as fast as an SSD, but as far as hard drive standards are, it's pretty good. Next we have the HP OMEN. This is for your higher end gamers. If you've got a little bit more of a budget, for around $1,200 or so, it's kind of hard to tell right now, what you get is 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, which for not only just gaming, but for any kind of productivity, you're gonna want that. Trust me, I use Adobe all the time, and Adobe products eat their RAM for breakfast, and 16 gigs is really where you want to be at. And for $1,200 to have a GTX 1070 and 16 gigs of RAM, you're doing okay. The GTX 1070 is one of the most sought after cards right now. For some reason, for crypto miners, it's one of the most efficient for the price, and the price is not good. The price for one of those right now is somewhere hovering around $800, which is funny because I believe the retail price of the MSRP for what it was originally supposed to be was around $300 or so. But not only does it have a GTX 1070, it has an Intel Core i7 7700. Now this is the HQ version, not the K version, so it's not the most insane chip they have, but it's still a really good chip. Anywho, even with this chip itself, plus the graphics card and the RAM, that alone would be over the price of $1,200 right now. So everything else you get in it is bonus? I don't know what you would want to call it. It's like buy that stuff and get the rest of the computer free. I don't know. Not only will you be able to game at flawless settings, you should be able to do 1440p, no problem, even some 4K gaming. And if you wanted to dabble into VR, this will be more than capable. This is one of the better cards you can get. No, it's not a 1080 or a 1080 Ti, but those are kind of insane right now. The 1070 is usually for high-end stuff what a lot of people, it is a little more affordable than those cards, and it's a very high-performing card, so a lot of people opt for the 1070. Anyway, those are 3 computers that I'd recommend right now. I did a lot of digging to see what was out there, price to performance wise, and these are 3 of the better options I've found. If you'd rather wait until the prices go down to build your very own system, I don't blame you. But if you need something now, this is a good option to look at. So let me know what you think. Did you find any other computers on sale right now that offer good price to performance? If you did, I'd like to feature them. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more. I do more videos like this, usually a lot more regular than I have in the past 2 weeks. Usually I do a video once or twice a week. But I do talk a lot about this subject in particular. So if you want to keep updated on that stuff, do the thing. Do the thing. Anyway, that's enough of me. I guess, yeah.